Welcoming you to Reser Stadium following Oregon State's final home game of the season. Beaver's Edge here, publisher Brenden Slaughter alongside senior writer Ryan Harlan. Well, Ryan, let's start off with this. Brogan might have picked a good game to skip. Because
I'm jealous, honestly. I'm very, very jealous. Like, to be quite honest with you, Brogan, if you're watching this, kudos.
Again, our youngest writer, Brogan Slaughter, decided to take in the Dad's Weekend festivities and was as a student here today and was enjoying it. But Ryan and I obviously were covering Oregon State's 21-17 loss to Sam Houston. And no, folks, you don't have to adjust your volume watching on YouTube. A 21-17 loss to the previously winless Sam Houston Bearcats. This is going to be, I don't really have a whole lot of words for this one. I think Rob Akey said it best in his, post-game breakdown. The fact that Oregon State played this way on the heels of the Washington State game, Ryan, which was such a huge win. He said, I'm sick to my stomach for these players. I have a very similar sentiment. This, I'd have to, you'd have to go back and equate it. But when you talk about being at home against a winless team, Ryan, you can make an argument this was the worst the Beavers have looked all year.
Yeah, I mean, with the stats, right? Like, it doesn't look that way on paper when you look at the box score. But in reality, like, you put up empty calories.
Yes, that's
offensively.
a great way to put it.
That's exactly what this performance was for Oregon State. I mean, sure, solid performance from Jabari Johnson in terms of throwing the ball, very much an overall improved experience. However, it doesn't matter much in the end when you aren't able to win. Like, that's the thing. Like, big nights also, too, for Anthony Hankerson, David Wells, and those performances get squandered because there is no W in the book. You don't go 1-0.
Right. No, and again, Ryan, let's break it down to what this exactly is. I thought early, you go to the first quarter, Oregon State jumped on them 10-0. It looked like, hey, and especially how easy it was early, especially Anthony Hankerson moving the ball. You're like, okay, you see where this is going. But really, Ryan, this comes down to, in my opinion, 3 plays, which is insane to say. Giving up a touchdown to Sam Houston State right before the half to make it 17-7 on that final drive. It was kind of the only time the defense kind of allowed. And then you go to kickoff return to open the second half. Took Sam Houston 18 seconds, and that was after a penalty had them re-kick on top of it all, and then a block punt. So again,
special teams.
Yeah. So you go back to this.
To borrow a phrase from a former coach, an effing joke. That is all that to say that once again, special teams rears its ugly head and Oregon State loses another game on the schedule that they should have won.
And then I'll also add in there too, Ryan, obviously a missed field goal and a blocked field goal, and that's, more than the difference in the game. And, again, that's why I said I don't think the defense played bad in this game. I thought the offense, like Ryan said, some empty calories. I don't think Sam Houston really believed Oregon State could throw deep in this game. I think Oregon State was great in the short and intermediate game, as we saw. But beyond that, they weren't able to stretch the defense. And Ryan, like you said, you tallied as many yards as this team nearly allows. But I'm looking at the score, 17 points, Ryan. Sam Houston allowed 41 coming into this game. In my opinion, Oregon State's offense didn't do enough. I think the defense did, and then special teams lost you the game again.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of been the tale of the tape of 2025, right? Like, I mean, for the final game of the year, the fact that, like, you end out, at home rather, I should say, with special teams miscues, and you start out the year with special teams miscues, and you go into Fresno, and that game was what it was, without having to open up those old wounds. It's a perfect close to the homestand here. Just unbelievable how historically bad this special teams unit has been. Like, I don't have words to describe the frustration I have with this group right now, because 2-8 clearly is not what this team should be. God, you could point to any single game on the schedule, Brendan.
Yeah, I know.
that they had special teams miscues, and we're talking about a different team. We're in a different mood. This is a different season overall.
And and to that point, Ryan, that's why I think everyone's.
I'm frustrated.
Right,
I'm genuinely frustrated at this performance.
Right. And I think this kind of performance says, you look at what Rob Akey did, getting the 2 wins. It got Oregon State off the schneid. But a game like this, folks, is why you don't over-invest in what an interim coach is selling you on a week-to-week basis. I think tonight proves Oregon State needs a new coach. They need a new voice. They need to purge what leadership, or purge the. It's just time for a hard reset.
Yeah.
So again,
also too, as the saying goes, any given Saturday, even with Sam Houston being winless, you don't overlook an opponent just because of their record. Sam Houston came in here playing with house money.
Do you believe that they didn't? Rob Akey obviously was pretty staunch in telling us post-game he didn't think that happened. Me, just my personal Brenden Slaughter opinion, it's human nature not to. So I think, there was a little bit of, and maybe even early when they jumped on them 10-0. I just think there was a little bit of passiveness, and Sam Houston rose to the occasion. You got to credit them to an extent.
Yeah, credit where credit's due on that. But also, too, I think just kind of looking at it and kind of seeing how emotional and like that victory was for Oregon State against Wazoo last week, I think
emotional hangover, perhaps.
Yeah, things got kind of, you got caught in a hangover, and you did not give your full undivided attention to Washington State to Sam Houston coming in this week from what you did from Washington State. I'm losing my words because I don't know what to say other than this team needs a hard reset and fast.
Yeah, and again, folks, that's what's going to be coming. Oregon State's got 3 weeks left in the season, 2 games plus a bye. And again, now the question's going to start to, the final 2 games of the season, less important than ultimately where Oregon State decides to go. Like we've talked about time and time again at BeaversEdge.com, Ryan, it's ultimately going to come down to and just how important it is for Scott Barnes to nail this hire. And again, make sure you stay locked into BeaversEdge.com for all the latest from that. That's going to go ahead and wrap us up from Reser Stadium as Oregon State falls 21-17. Again, special for you guys tonight with the final home game. Ryan and I are going to be working on 10 takeaways from tonight's game. A lot to break down, so make sure you stay locked into BeaversEdge.com for that. We've also got hoop season coming around the corner as well, so make sure you stay locked into BeaversEdge.com. For Ryan Harlan, this is Brenden Slaughter signing off on this post-game breakdown where Oregon State drops their final home game of the season to Sam Houston, 21-17.